Hey everybody, it's Brad and welcome back to the channel. You're watching Firewood at the Furnace, and today we've got a little bit of maintenance to get taken care of, and we got to start bucking up these logs that are laying here in the yard because tomorrow I think Valerie is going to be coming over here to help me do some splitting. So I got to get a little head start on the bucking action so that she can have some stuff to do while I'm cutting up the rest of the wood when she gets here tomorrow. But anyway, last night we had some pretty severe storms go through the area here. Lots of heavy rain, winds 50 to 60 mile an hour blowing. Even had a tornado touch down in the county here just up north of us. Took out a lot of trees and did a lot of damage to some property. So I was actually in Delaware last night at a bull roast for the kids' baseball and softball programs, and I was there with Chaz from the tree service, and his phone obviously started ringing off the hook after all the damage was being done. So this may end up being a pretty busy week with some storm cleanup. I know he's going around looking at some jobs today, but I want to get some maintenance done because it should have been done about a week or so ago. And I'm going to show you what I've been doing as far as maintenance goes on the equipment and what I'm going to try new today. I found something on Amazon and purchased it, and it was just delivered, so I'm going to try it out and see how it works. I know it's not the best alternative, but I think it's a reasonable alternative, and I'm going to show it to you. I hadn't seen them before. I'm going to try it out today, so stick around. All right, so when it comes to maintenance on the equipment in the yard, there's a lot that I have to take into consideration now that I didn't have to deal with before. Obviously not just oil changes on the equipment, such as the skid loader, the log splitter, and the conveyor, but routine maintenance such as greasing the equipment. I've got lots of grease points on the skid loader, lots of grease points on the conveyor. There's some grease points on the splitter, but also now both dump trailers with multiple grease points as well. And you have to stay on top of that, otherwise in the long run you're going to cost yourself a lot more money. So the grease that I've been using is this Lucas Oil Red and Tacky number 2, and this is a good all-around grease. It's good for trailer wheel bearings, it's good for industrial, agricultural use. Pretty much you can use this on everything. It's got a lot of good properties to it, so that's just what I choose to use. Lots of options out there, that's just what I use. But when it comes to grease guns, I started out with this, the old hand pump style. And if you've done any greasing of equipment, then you know that depending on where these grease zerks are that you need to get to, sometimes you need 2 hands. And when you got to hold the grease gun, you got to hold the nozzle on the zerk, plus you've got to pump the grease gun. Sometimes you wish you had a 3rd hand. But you know, that's the cheapest option out there, and that's what I started with. I normally leave this laying next to the splitter, the 1222, because I grease the beam on it every single time I use it. And it actually has a grease zerk on it right behind the push plate. So I leave this there now, and this is what I use primarily just for greasing the beam on the splitter. After I decided I didn't like that, I went to the pistol grip. And this is much more convenient because you can operate the grease gun with one hand and you can use your other hand to hold it on to the grease zerk. I did try one of these quick connect grease zerk attachments. It's spring loaded and it kind of locks onto the zerk, but it's so big and bulky that a lot of times, especially on the skid loader on the grapple, it's hard to get into places and you can't really maneuver it in there to get on it for greasing. So I've kind of went back to the original. But what I really wanted was one of the battery operated grease guns. You know, you just pull the trigger and it pumps the grease. But they're pretty pricey, around $200 to $300 depending on which one you're looking at. I looked at the Milwaukees, I looked at the Makitas, because the Makita is something that I already have, a drill and impact gun with the battery chargers. But like I said, they're $200 to $300 a piece, and I just couldn't justify spending that money right now. So what I found on Amazon, I had never seen this before, maybe you have, but I went ahead and purchased it to give it a try because it was only $38. But this is a grease gun attachment for a cordless drill. And I'm just now opening it, so I don't even know what it looks like or what it's going to take to attach it. But here's the picture of it, and you attach a cordless drill to the pump, put your grease cartridge in, and it's supposed to work just like a regular battery powered grease gun. But what I had was this Chemo drill laying around. Chemo sent me some tools a little over a year ago, and because I use the Makita drill primarily, I had this laying around. It wasn't really being used. So I will be able to dedicate this drill specifically to this grease gun. So I'm hoping it will work out. So let me open up this box here. We'll see what we've got, what it looks like, and what it's going to take to attach this drill. It says it's compatible with just about every drill out there, so fingers crossed that this will work. And I don't know how well it's going to hold up or how bulky it is. It looks like it's pretty big. But let me figure this thing out and we'll put it together. All right, so here's what we've got. I went ahead and attached the hose to it, attached the nozzle to it, and it's got a kind of like a band clamp type style thing here that you can loosen up that will fit your drill. Whichever drill you have, it'll fit in there. And what you do is they provide you with two different extension pieces for this will chuck into your drill, and this is 6mm. That will basically drive the pump inside the tube here. So we'll attach that 6mm to the drill. I think the short one's going to work best for this particular setup with this drill. And we'll see if we can get it locked in and working. Holding the drill steady and locking this in. It does come with the Allen wrench attached to the grease gun so that you can tighten everything up. Alright, that looks like that might work. It's pretty heavy and pretty bulky, but if it works well, one-handed without having to pump anything, still have the other hand to hold the nozzle on the Zerk. We'll see. So let's get this loaded up. We'll put some grease in her. Came out of the bleeder. There we go. It's pumping. It does come with this little fine nozzle as well, and a hard extension if you don't want to use the flexible hose. So let's get over here to the skid loader and we'll see how this thing works out. I did read some of the reviews said that the pump didn't hold up well or the seals blew out on it. But we're going to give it a shot and see how it works out here. And I figured I'd bring you along with me in case anybody else might be interested in something like this. All right, here we go. We'll give it a shot. First grease point on the skid loader. There we go, coming through now. Try this next one over here. Seems to be working. The skid loader is all greased up. I will tell you that this thing works good, but is a little heavy, a little bulky. I'm going to go ahead and hit all the points on this grapple here. But the difference between $200 or more and $38, I think. I mean, time will tell in the long run how well this holds up, but so far so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up greasing this, and then we'll get over to the dump trailer. So some of you might be saying, Brad, how often are you greasing your equipment? Well, I had the same kind of questions, and I kind of figured out through some experience that I had and from talking to some friends of mine that as far as a skid loader and stuff goes, any equipment like that, if you're using it all day, every day, it should be daily, sometimes more than daily. If you're not using it all day, every day, then every 8 to 10 hours is a good gauge on when you should be greasing that equipment. Obviously you need to take things into consideration, like what you're doing with it. If you're running through a lot of dirt and dust, if you're mowing, or if you're brush hogging and creating a lot of dust, then you should probably be doing it maybe a little more often. As far as the trailer goes, the axles every 6 months to every 5,000 to 6,000 miles I think is a good number to go by. And as far as the components of the dump system, I try to do it every few months as well, depending on how much I'm using the trailer. The trailer will kind of tell you when it needs grease, because you'll start hearing some little creaking or some cracking or some popping as the body goes up and down. That's a good way to tell it's probably time to put some grease in those fittings. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to grease the trailer. So the dump trailer's all done. I still got to do the same thing to this trailer, but I've still got some dirt in the back of the trailer. So once I get that off, I will grease that trailer the same way we just did this one. Next up on the maintenance schedule is the conveyor. It's got 4 pillow blocks at the top and bottom of each conveyor, or of both ends of the conveyor, that need greased. So the good thing about this is I don't need to get on a ladder. to grease these things. That's why you hear the motor running. I can simply pull the pins and lower it down. So we'll do that now. It makes life a lot easier. So you can see these a little better. Right here, these pillow blocks, we'll take these caps off and get some grease in them. Do the same thing on the bottom. All right, so everything's greased. First impressions, do I like it? For $40, I would say yes, I like it for $40. Time will tell how it holds up. Like I said, it is a little heavy, a little bulky, but I purchased this just to try to fill a gap for now until maybe I can get the real deal. But if anybody's interested in something like this, if you've never seen it before like me, I'll leave a link in the description of the video for the one that I got. I don't know if there's better ones or if this is even a good one or not, but it's the one that I found. So I'm going to use it until I can't use it, I guess. And if something happens to it, I'll be sure to let you all know. But anyway, maintenance obviously is a very important thing to take care of. Sometimes myself, and I'm sure you do too, get caught up in getting work done in the yard. You want to get wood processed, you want to get wood split, you want to get wood stacked, you want to get orders out to your customers, but sometimes you got to take a day, just put all that aside for a few minutes and do the maintenance on your equipment, because ultimately that is what allows you to do this whole thing that we love to do. So if you're not maintaining your equipment, you're eventually going to run into a big problem, and so that's why I try to stay on top of it, and I hope you do too. That's going to be it for today. Make sure you check out Friday's video. This is the first Friday of the month coming up. So check that video out here in 2 days. And I hope you all have a great day, great tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see you Friday. Take care.